All right, so before we keep going, I wanted to make a few changes to our data so that when we want to convert into Django 1.7, that we could do that. So this is really just kind of notes on getting ready for conversion, and we will actually do conversion to 1.7 at a later date, but there's just a few things that I definitely want to point out. So if we open up our signals inside of accounts, we used this to grab the user model. Now, that's okay, but when it comes to using Django 1.7, there are a few changes that we need to do. We're not going to use this as much, actually. So when it's referred to with models or signals, what we're going to want to use instead to signify the user model is settings.auth user model. Now, we've already seen this before, but it's not actually getting the user model itself. It's actually a string that is naming the user model. So where this is getting the model object, this is just the string. So now what I'm going to do is go down to this sender and put it to settings.auth user model. And that will change how this actually works, but it will still work the same, right? And then I can even delete that import completely. All right, so we can save that. And then now what I want to do also is just search for get user model in all of my open files and folders, because I'm going to want to change all of them that are related to that aren't in models. So right here, this is, or that are in models, excuse me. This is models.py. We want to change this get user model to not being that anymore. So let's open this up. Just double click on there. And this foreign key relationship right here says user, and we don't want that. We're going to comment that out and change this to being settings.auth user model. And again, in Django 1.6, using get user model is okay, but once we want to switch to 1.7, it's not. So from django.conf import settings. All right, so that looks good. Let's do one last search, and I'm doing Command-Shift-F to get this find just like that. And we'll do it again. And that auth user model is still there, so let's go ahead and just delete it because we no longer need that. One more time. Okay, great. So now it's only in forms, and that's okay unless the form specifically is using something other than the actual object itself. So let's see the user object right here. So this is okay. How we have that there, that's okay. Now, of course, it would be a little bit different if we were using a custom user model, but we don't have to worry about that at this point. Okay, so now that we've got that, let's also do auth user model and do a search for that to make sure that it's used in the model. So models, signals, that's good. Models, that's good as well. And if we scroll up a little bit, let's just again make sure that it's only in models. So models, forms, this is get user model, so these are just the results here. So scrolling down, searching for this. So it's in models, it's in the signals and models, and that's okay. Now, the reason that it works in signals is because signals could be in the account models as on themselves, right? Signals can be inside of models only. All right, so this is getting prepared for Django 1.7, but it's also just kind of refactoring to make it a little bit better practices as far as how we work with the user model. All right, so in the next one, we are going to continue where we left off in the last one. And yeah, so we'll see you then.